In 2010, 19-year-old Iwona Wieczorek vanished while walking home from a night out in Gdańsk, Poland. Iwona had spent the evening at a nightclub with friends and was last seen on CCTV footage around 4 a.m. on July 17th walking along the seaside. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no trace of her has ever been found. The footage shows Iwona walking alone, seemingly in good spirits, but no clues have emerged to explain what happened next. Numerous theories have been proposed, including abduction, human trafficking, and foul play, but none have led to definitive answers. Jerry Krause, an experienced American pilot, vanished under mysterious circumstances in 2013 while flying over the coast of West Africa. Krause, who had served as a missionary pilot with the Mission Aviation Fellowship for over 2 decades, was piloting a small Beechcraft 1900C aircraft from South Africa to Mali. On April 7th, Krause's aircraft disappeared from radar without any distress signal. Despite extensive search efforts by international teams, including aerial and maritime searches, no trace of the plane or Krause was ever found. His disappearance has led to numerous theories, ranging from mechanical failure and weather-related issues to more sinister possibilities like hijacking or foul play. However, no definitive evidence has emerged to explain what happened. Jean-Jacques Savin, a 75-year-old French adventurer, gained international attention for his daring solo expeditions across the Atlantic Ocean. In 2019, Savin made headlines when he successfully crossed the Atlantic in a specially designed barrel-shaped capsule, relying on ocean currents to carry him from the Canary Islands to the Caribbean. In January 2022, Savin embarked on another ambitious journey, this time attempting to row solo across the Atlantic. He set off from Portugal, hoping to reach the Caribbean once again. However, after several weeks at sea, contact with Savin was lost. On January 21, 2022, his overturned boat was found near the Azores, but Savin was missing. Despite searches, Jean-Jacques Savin was never found, leaving his fate a mystery. The Allagash abductions are among the most famous and debated UFO-related incidents in American history. In August 1976, 4 friends embarked on a camping trip in the remote Allagash wilderness in Maine. On the second night of their trip, they observed a bright, unusual light in the sky that seemed to follow them. According to the men, the light enveloped them, and they experienced a period of missing time. Under hypnosis years later, all 4 recounted terrifying abduction experiences involving aliens and invasive medical examinations. The consistency of their stories, despite being hypnotized separately, added to the credibility of their claims. Skeptics argue that the hypnosis sessions may have led to false memories, while others believe the incident is one of the most compelling pieces of evidence for extraterrestrial encounters. In December 1989, 5-year-old Melissa Brannon vanished from a holiday party in Lorton, Virginia, becoming the focus of a high-profile missing child case. Melissa was attending the party with her mother at the Woodside Apartments clubhouse when she disappeared while getting a snack. A massive search and investigation followed, led by the FBI and local police. Suspicion quickly fell on Caleb Hughes, a groundskeeper at the apartment complex, who had left the party around the time Melissa went missing. Fibers matching Melissa's clothing were found in Hughes's car, leading to his arrest. Although Hughes was convicted of abduction with intent to defile, Melissa Brannon's body was never found, and her ultimate fate remains unknown. The Bannock treasure is a legendary hidden cache of gold that has captivated treasure hunters and historians for over a century. The tale dates back to the 1860s during Montana's gold rush, centered around the town of Bannock, which was a booming mining camp at the time. According to legend, Henry Plummer, the town's sheriff, was secretly the leader of a notorious outlaw gang. The gang was responsible for robbing stagecoaches and gold shipments throughout the region. Plummer and his gang supposedly accumulated a significant fortune in stolen gold, which they buried in the hills surrounding Bannock. In 1864, Plummer and several gang members were captured and hanged by vigilantes. Plummer reportedly took the secret of the treasure's location to his grave. Despite numerous searches, the Bannock treasure has never been found, making it one of the American West's most enduring mysteries. The SS Baikimo, a steel-hulled cargo steamer, became one of the most famous ghost ships in maritime history. Built in 1914, the Bachimo was used primarily for trading pelts along the northwest coast of Canada. In October 1931, the ship became trapped in pack ice near Alaska. After several attempts to free the vessel failed, the crew abandoned the ship, assuming it would soon sink. However, the Bachimo did not sink. Instead, it broke free of the ice and began drifting aimlessly through the Arctic waters. Over the next few decades, the Bachimo was sighted numerous times by various vessels and explorers. Efforts to salvage the ship were unsuccessful, and it continued to float in the Arctic, earning its reputation as a ghost ship. The last confirmed sighting of the Bachimo was in 1969, nearly 40 years after it was abandoned. In 1990, 17-year-old Christopher Kurtz, a high school student from Eagan, Minnesota, vanished under mysterious circumstances. On April 20th, Christopher called in sick to school and later borrowed the family van, claiming he was going to pick up homework. He left behind a note apologizing for lying and expressing a desire to disappear. The van was found abandoned 2 days later, near Grand Rapids, Minnesota, over 200 miles from his home. In the weeks following his disappearance, Christopher's family received strange phone calls, with no one speaking on the other end. After 6 months, these calls abruptly stopped. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no trace of Christopher has ever been found, and his disappearance remains unsolved. Bill Tillman, a renowned British mountaineer and explorer, was celebrated for his pioneering climbs in the Himalayas and adventurous spirit. Tillman, who was also a decorated war hero, was known for his remarkable expeditions in the 30s and 40s. In 1977, at the age of 79, Tillman joined a voyage to the South Atlantic aboard the schooner En Avant to explore remote islands. However, in November of that year, the vessel encountered trouble in the treacherous waters near the Falkland Islands. The En Avant and its crew, including Tillman, disappeared without a trace. Despite extensive search efforts, neither the ship nor any remains were ever found. Bert Alvord began as a deputy sheriff in Cochise County, Arizona, but he soon crossed into a life of crime. By the late 1890s, he led a gang involved in train robberies, using his law enforcement knowledge to evade capture. His gang included notorious outlaws like Billy Stiles and Three-Fingered Jack Dunlop. In 1904, Alvord was captured and imprisoned, but he managed to escape, and after that, he vanished, and his fate remains a mystery. Some believe he fled to Central or South America, while others think he met a violent end. Bert Alvord's story is a classic example of the blurred lines between lawman and outlaw in the Old West. In 1980, Lorene Ron, a 14-year-old girl from Manchester, New Hampshire, vanished under mysterious circumstances. On the night of April 26th, Lorene's mother, Judith, returned home to find the apartment dark and the front door open. Lorene was missing, but her purse and shoes were left behind. Lorene had been with friends earlier that evening, and they had reportedly been drinking in the apartment. Witnesses reported seeing a strange man in the building around the time of her disappearance, but he was never identified. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no trace of Lorene was ever found. In 1910, Dorothy Arnold, a 25-year-old New York socialite and aspiring writer, mysteriously vanished, becoming one of the most famous missing person cases of the early 20th century. On December 12th, Arnold left her family's Manhattan home to go shopping. She was last seen by acquaintances on Fifth Avenue, where she purchased chocolates and a book. Despite being a well-known figure in society, Dorothy was never seen again. Her family, initially reluctant to involve the police, hired private investigators who uncovered no significant leads. Publicity about her disappearance led to numerous sightings, but none were confirmed. Various theories emerged, including abduction, suicide, and even a secret love affair gone wrong. Despite exhaustive efforts and widespread media attention, the fate of Dorothy Arnold remains unknown. Alejandro Castillo, a young man from Charlotte, North Carolina, became the subject of a nationwide manhunt after the mysterious disappearance and murder of his ex-girlfriend, Truquan Sandy Lee Lay, in 2016. Castillo, then 17 years old, worked with Sandy at a local restaurant. On August 9, 2016, Sandy was last seen withdrawing money from an ATM with Castillo. Her body was later found in a wooded area in Cabarrus County, North Carolina. Castillo quickly became the prime suspect after he disappeared, crossing into Mexico. Despite extensive efforts by the FBI and Mexican authorities, Castillo remains on the run, making him one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. Jared Negrete, a Boy Scout from El Monte, California, disappeared on July 19, 1991, during a hiking trip to Mount San Gorgonio in the San Bernardino National Forest. Jared fell behind his group and was last seen around 4 p.m. Despite an extensive search involving volunteers, rescue teams, helicopters, and dogs, he was never found. The only clue was his camera, discovered days later, with haunting photos of Jared, including a close-up of his anxious face and his feet, but no signs of what happened. Various theories have emerged, from getting lost in the wilderness to possible abduction, but none have been proven. Jared's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Larry Hillblum, the co-founder of the global courier giant DHL, became the subject of a baffling mystery after his disappearance in 1995. On May 21st, Hillblum's seaplane crashed into the Pacific Ocean near the northern Mariana Islands during a routine flight. While the bodies of the pilot and another passenger were recovered, Hillblum's body was never found, leading to widespread speculation about his fate. Despite extensive searches and investigations, Hillblum's remains were never located, and his disappearance remains shrouded in intrigue. The case attracted international attention, not only due to Hillblum's wealth, but also because of the complex and contested claims to his fortune, which involved multiple lawsuits from the children he fathered.